Hey everyone, I am Sneha Mashetty and welcome to my channel, The Girl with an Opinion. In this space, I talk about a bunch of things like books, movies, travel, productivity and finance tips, and a lot more. So if any of these topics interest you, consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon. At the beginning of every year, it's a very common practice for most of us to take resolutions. And I'm sure many of y'all might have taken resolutions like, I'm going to start reading this year. And believe me, I really want you to succeed because reading can be such a beautiful, surreal, and imaginative journey, and not to mention the learning that you get from it. I want to help you on your reading journey, and I'm going to suggest 7 recommendations for beginners in this video. So let's get started. My first recommendation for today is Tuesdays with Maury, written by Mitch Albom, that was published in the year 1997. This book is based on the real life experiences of the author Mitch Albom when he goes back and reconnects with his sociology professor from college, Maury. He starts to spend Tuesdays with him, and this book recounts 14 such Tuesdays when they talk about different things like how to be a better human being to how to deal with death. This is like a nice, warm, big hug from your grandfather, and not to mention all the learnings that you get from it. It's a very short and easy read to get through, and I definitely recommend it for beginners. My next recommendation is The Nine Chambered Heart by Janice Perriet. This book was originally published in the year 2017. It revolves around 9 people talking about their relationship and love for the same woman. It spans from the person's childhood to their early 30s. More than it being a love story, it is about how different people remember us in different ways. It makes us question, are we human beings or just memories and stories that others tell about us? It is a very simplistic read with easy vocabulary, and you can get through it very quickly. My next recommendation is Fahrenheit 451, which is a dystopian novel written by Ray Bradbury and was originally published in the year 1953. The central character of this book, Guy Montag, is a fireman. And ironically, in this premise, he has to start fires, burn books, literature, and essentially anything that imparts knowledge. What Guy starts to do is that he hoards books in his house, and what happens to him is what this book is all about. It is classic science fiction, and Ray Bradbury brought that into mainstream very early on. It is powerful storytelling because even today, the topics like censorship, conforming to norms are very relevant. It is a book you don't want to miss if you want to delve into the world of classic science fiction. The next easy read is Heaven, written by Miko Kawakami and was originally published in Japanese in the year 2009 and was very recently translated into English in 2021. The premise for this story is a middle school, and the central characters are two outcasts. Our unnamed narrator is bullied, shoved around by his classmates, and made fun of for his lazy eye. But few days later, he starts to get letters from his classmate Kojima, who is also bullied by the same people. They start to bond and share long conversations that are both deep and heartbreaking. It makes you wonder how you were in middle school, and the climax of the story is particularly liberating. If you are looking for a nostalgic read that makes you rethink your school days and how you were, this is the read for you. My next recommendation is Train to Pakistan, written by Kushwant Singh and was published in the year 1956. This extraordinary Indian tale is set in 1947 and talks about the partition. I remember reading this book back in school, but I don't think I understood the full magnitude of it back then. Only when I reread it a few months ago, it brought me to tears, and this is simplistic storytelling at its best. The premise of this story is a small, isolated village that is close to the India Pakistan border and has Sikhs and Muslims in equal number. They live in harmony and are suddenly impacted by the partition. How does the partition actually affect these common people is what this book is all about. If you really want to understand the partition in a consumable manner, this is your starting point. You should definitely check it out. My next recommendation is Wild Embers by Nikita Gill, that was published in the year 2017. If you're in the mood to start with poetry that doesn't require you to open the dictionary at every page but is still very intense, this is the book for you. Nikita explores themes like rebellion, self love, self discovery, chaos, and a lot more. The book is divided into 7 parts, and each of these parts talk about the themes that I just mentioned. She really has the talent to tug at your heartstrings and make you feel all the emotions. If you want to start off with poetry, you should definitely check it out. My last recommendation is Lajja by Taslima Nasreen, that was originally written in Bengali and was published in the year 1993. Taslima's writing is extremely powerful and she writes from the point of view of a minority family set up in Bangladesh after the demolition of Babri Masjid in India in 1992. The political unrest in India travels to the neighboring Bangladesh and uproots the Datta family that is a minority in the country. If you really want to understand how a minority feels in a different landscape or a setup, this is the right read for you. It is very, very, very powerful and it stayed with me for many days after I read it. I hope you begin your reading journey and check out these easy to read recommendations. I'm sure that you'll really enjoy it and will never stop reading again. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel The Girl with an Opinion and hit the bell icon.